Now that we've got our scalp object, let's go ahead and apply some hair. So first thing I'm going to do is let's just unhide our character because it's looking a little bit creepy there with just the eyes. So I'm going to subdivide the character again and the hair object just so things look a little bit cleaner. And it's a good idea to rename, of course, your object. So let's just call that scalp. So now we've got that. We can simply select it, do hair from selection, and we'll end up creating hair on that object. And as we'd seen in the hair from surface section, we end up creating the hair as a child of the hair emitter, and there's a kinematic relationship between the hair and the source emitter. So if I move this around, the hair will follow it. So looking at the hair guides again, what's going to happen is we can start applying weight maps and styling tools to the hair to basically get it how we want it. And the suggested workflow is to, on the left hand side, you have a render hairs option, and that'll let you actually display the render hairs, and you control the actual percentage of render hairs you're seeing. So it's a good idea, when you're styling, to bring this up to 60-70%, just see how the look is, and then as you're working and you want more interactive feedback, go back down to 10% or even turn them off to get a faster update. So we're just going to leave that at 10% for now, and I'm just going to scale up the hairs a little bit so there's something more to see. Let's just fit that, something like that. Now the first thing we're going to look at is actually how we can apply weight maps to hair and transfer weight maps to hair. So let's go to our Explorer. Now the way this works is what we need to do is we can only transfer maps from the actual hair emitter. So we need to apply weight maps or UV coordinates or whatnot to the actual hair emitter and then transfer those to the hair. So ideally in the future this will get a little more automated and will automatically transfer the maps to the hair, but right now this is a manual process. So we select the scalp and we want to apply a weight map to it. So get property, weight map. So now the weight map has been applied to the scalp, and now we want to move that over to the hair. So we can just select the hair and go to the hair menu, do a transfer map, and if we actually look under there, under the source emitter, under the cluster, we've got the weight map cluster, and there's the weight map. So let's just select that. So now that's been transferred to the hair. If we actually just open the hair PPG, and all these parameters you can see on the effects tab of hair, you can see it can be driven by weight maps. So some of the more typical ones you'll use is you'll drive the cut parameter with a weight map or the density to actually control the hair. And this is a really good way to create organic type effects. So let's just right click and go connect, and then we can connect the weight map on the hair to it. So you can see there it's under the cluster, and we can select it. So now the weight map's connected to the hair, and it's been connected to the cut parameter. So we're going to just actually hide the character and just deal with our scalp object. So if we hit W, we're entering the weight painting mode, and you can see we've got right now a weight of 1 everywhere. It's constant. So what I can do is paint negatively using my right mouse button. So you can see there we're painting black. And you can see in that area specifically, just to make it more obvious, let's paint with a big circle there. Turn off weight mode. So you can see there we're getting a little bit of a bald spot. And you can see the fall off as we get to the edge. The hairs are a little bit longer. So we're basically driving the cut parameter with the painting. So as you probably know, use the Alt key to actually blur it, so you can get a softer edge along the corners. So there you go. We have a bit of a balding pattern happening there. that's just basically to show you the effect. I'm going to quickly paint that back to 1. And what I want to do is basically use it a little bit on the sides. And we can actually use the symmetry map that we created earlier for the poly reduction and use that to paint on both sides. So let's turn on symmetry and see that we've got the nice symmetry appearing on both sides. So I'm just going to add a little bit of receding hairline here and go around the back and just give it a bit of a trim along the back just to create something a little more organic. And then along the bottom we'll do the same. Middle mouse click to scale it down. So let's just set these all to 0. Let's fade that out there a little bit too. And again, Alt will smooth this out if you want to create a nice transition. Something like that. Alt key here. So there we go. If we want to trim the sideburns a little bit along the edge, we'll do something like that. So that's pretty good for now. And again, all the different parameters that we saw in the hair PPG can be driven by the weight map. So that's actually one of the most useful tools for doing organic styling, the root, tip, and stuff. Now that we actually created the weight map, we can reuse it for other parameters. If we want the hair to actually become less dense where we painted, we can just connect that same weight map to the density as well. And a lot of times you can see some of the hairs disappeared. We're getting less hairs in those areas. And a lot of times when you have generalized weight maps, like we just did there, we can reuse it for multiple parameters, and it's pretty useful. So next up, we're going to start doing some basic styling.